We now can go through this process of moving these documented processes over into AI agents. It's really just a three-step process that I want you to get and write down. A lot of people make the wrong leap by trying. I'm going to show you AI agents, and a lot of people will just try and jump to the bright, shiny object. And they're going to try and do optimization and building out AI agents first. If you go through the steps, you will get significantly greater outcomes. You first need to have a process. Most people, they're trying to figure out what it is that they want to automate while they're building it. Whereas if you have a process already predefined, it's infinitely easier to then go to the robots to then execute on it. So people get it back to front. First, figure out what your process is in your organization that you're looking to automate. Start there. The next step after that is you then create the AI prompts to help you complete what you're already doing quicker by leveraging a chat interface. And then the last step is actually to build out the workflow. You want to go through that order. There's a really great short, and a lot of these things we'll put in the resources section. I'll get Ivan to post the one of Elon Musk, and he basically explains this. He's standing in front of a big rocket out at SpaceX, and he basically goes through this process to say, and the last step is to automate. And he said many times, I still do things in reverse accidentally, but you have to know your process, create the prompts, then create the workflow. So we had a process for our content machine. I've got that video that explains it a bit more. We then generated the prompts that this document you can see right in front of us here. This is when I first got introduced to ChatGPT, and I'm asking it to act as a content writer, and I want it to be informative and entertaining and add value, and I tell it what I want, and then I've got very specific prompts to basically say, hey, I'm going to feed you a transcript. Can you read the transcript, pull out 3 titles for me? Read the transcript, pick out the keywords. Read the transcript, write an article. So basically, that's the next step. You have a process, then you figure out what are the prompts for the AI to speed it up. And then the last step is when we then program this into the machine. So let's have a look at the way that the machine now works. I'll show you the end picture. And you can, the tool I'm using here is called Cassidy. So let me just jump out of this. And we'll just jump over to Cassidy. And as I said, there's plenty of tools like this, but I like Cassidy just because it's very easy. But basically, you start off by creating assistants, and we already get the concept of creating assistants based on different departments. So let's jump into this systems champion assistant. Much like a chat GPT, a custom GPT, in the background, you give it a name, you give it a description. I've loaded a position description for our systems champion. We can give it some instructions. When you tell it what it is, Cassidy will actually make up some instructions for you to help train it. You can load your brand voice, but the bit that is most important here is loading of your knowledge. So right down the bottom here, you can basically attach different knowledge. That's why I said how it's important to make sure that you organize your knowledge so that you can upload it to tools like this. And then now I've created this little assistant who is using, this one's using Gemini, but you can really select any different model that you want. We just run some testing on some different ones. You can train that assistant on your particular data. So that's the first step. Now you can come in here and then engage with that assistant just like a regular chat bot. So very similar experience thus far to what you could create in ChatGPT. The workflows is where the magic happens though. So I'll show you that content machine. If I come into the content machine here, and I'll edit the workflow just so you can see it. In fact, maybe it's easier if I create a new workflow for you here. So let's just to show you how easy it is, I'm going to go create new workflow. They've got a bunch of templates. I'm going to start from a blank one. Then the first thing we do is we figure out what is our trigger. Now, a lot of this terminology is people are already familiar with if you're in systemology world, because I talk about this is really, we talk about finding a trigger in your system to kickstart a system. So I'm going to ask for, the first trigger is going to be a transcript. I'm then going to create an action. I'm going to generate text with a Cassidy assistant. And then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select my assistant. So let's choose my marketing assistant. And I'm going to say, please read this transcript and write me 3 titles for this YouTube video. And then I'm going to reference the variable up here, which was the transcript. And then that's it. Now let's come up here and I'm going to hit run. Now, I just did one thing in there, but you can actually, I'll show you, you can string together action after action after action, and you can reference previous steps' results in those steps. So I'm going to come up to run here, and then I'm just going to copy a transcript I've got here from one of our YouTube videos, and I'm just going to post this in here and go run workflow. So it's going to go off now using my marketing assistant trained on my data, using my brand voice, and then it's going to use that prompt, and then it's going to go to, I think this one was Gemini, and go ask it for 3 headlines that would suit that particular transcript, which is the first step in our content machine. So that's how easy it is, but I'll show you a complete one. So if we come up into something like the content machine workflow, you'll notice here I've strung together a whole bunch of these actions. So I can then now take the same transcript, post it in here, and this one is building a business to sell, and we'll call it built to sell as the keyword. I'm going to run this workflow. Now it's going to go off in the background and now complete all of these tasks. We'll just give it a minute to go through and you'll see it just kind of ticks away. And you can have different steps reference information that's been generated from earlier steps. Now the result here, combined this text, it has, this is the way that we create our content machine. It's now built out my keywords, secondary keywords. It's given me 5 YouTube title options, 1 question style, 1 Mr. Beast style, 1 David Jennings style. It's picked out the keywords for the text to go onto the thumbnail. It's written me a description. It's written me some social media posts. It's written a LinkedIn for me. And when you look at this content, and we'll save it so you can see it, the output is exceptional because it's trained on my data. You can even see in here, it's giving me the citations as to where it's pulled information beyond what was in the original transcript I gave it, because I attached the marketing assistant trained on our data. So this most definitely is next level. I hope you enjoyed that clip. Just a heads up, it was a snippet taken from the Business Systems Accelerator program, which is the world's first training for systems champions to help you build a systems-driven organization. If you'd like to find out more about the program, head over to systemology.com/BSA, and I'll see you in the next video.